Jim, our next question sent to CornyDriveThru@gmail.com from Rob in Connecticut.
A lot of people sending questions in from Connecticut this week.
Some of my favorite stories are about how tough the boys used to be. I've heard Jim tell stories about Harley Race, Dr. Death, Hercules Hernandez, Hacksaw Jim Duggan, and the Island Boys, as Jim calls them, to name a handful. But I've never heard Jim talk about how tough Blackjack Mulligan was.
Huh.
I've heard Ric Flair mention in interviews that Mulligan had a habit of sucker punching people, including Harley Race and Andre the Giant. Does Jim know about either incident or any other stories involving acts of violence that may have been perpetrated by Blackjack Mulligan?
Yeah, who else was it? He beat the shit out of Buck Robley one night, didn't he?
He knocked out Ole twice, I think.
Out Ole. That's right. It was Ole he knocked out twice. As sucker, but just one time, I think, weren't they walking up a hill or something somewhere, and Mulligan just turned around and just fucking blasted him. I didn't spend a lot of time around Blackjack Mulligan because his heyday was mostly right before I got in the business, and he was pretty much out of the ring by the time I went anywhere but Memphis, and he never worked Memphis. Having said that, I've obviously met him several times, and there was that time that when George Scott was hired by Jim Hurd to be the booker for WCW for 3 months, January through April of 1989, for about 2 or 3 weeks, he brought in Blackjack Mulligan to be his assistant booker, specifically for this reason. As ridiculous as this sounds, not for the territories, but when they were working for Turner Broadcasting, this was under the TBS umbrella. Blackjack Mulligan was his assistant booker, so if anybody didn't want to do what George Scott told him to do, Mulligan would make them, physically. Now that may have worked in the 70s, but it wasn't going to work in almost 1990 in Turner Broadcasting. And Mulligan came in and was there. I remember him giving us, he gave us one of our finishes. I think was there a clash in, oh, God damn it, January or February of 90. But anyway, he was there for about 2 or 3 weeks and saw that the whole place was a clusterfuck, and didn't really want to do his job or like it or fit in there, and left. I don't know whether he was asked to leave or whether he left on his own or whether it was just simultaneous, and that was all you saw of Blackjack Mulligan. But that was the big deal when it came. Yeah, Mulligan's here. If anybody doesn't want to go for what George Scott wants to do, he's going to fucking make them. Well, no, because we've already established that since we're working for an actual real business, if he touches either one of us, we could sue Ted Turner and fucking retire. But as far as being a tough guy, I mean, if he's 6'9" and 350 pounds, that says something right there. Was Mulligan a high-level amateur wrestler of any kind? No, he played pro football at a lower level. I don't mean like semi-pro. I mean, he was in the NFL for a while. He wasn't a star. Couple seasons, right? Bob Windham. He was a badass as far as being a big guy that was strong and heavy and could fucking put you where he wanted you to go and could hit hard. But also, as you mentioned, sometimes had the reputation of, well, you're not going to know he's going to hit you until he does because you don't know it's coming. So could he stretch anybody or could he out-wrestle Brock Lesnar? No, but because of his massive size and strength and disposition, he was somebody that nobody fucked with. If that makes any sense.